business, Village of Greenhills Council meeting to order for December 17th, 2024. Clerk, call the roll.
Ms. Hermes?
Here.
Mr. Lee?
Here.
Ms. Hudson?
Here.
Ms. Walker?
Here.
Mr. Halter?
Here.
Mayor Moore?
Here. Here we have a prayer by Maria Walter.
Peace be in my heart. This is my prayer, quiet contentment to have and to share. Each new tomorrow, blessed and real, each wondrous drawing, and a daybreak ideal. Peace in my home, this I would ask, sharing each burden to lighten our task. Laughter abundant so much may be worthwhile. Faith, hope, and courage, bright happy smile. Peace in this country, this is my dream. Peace we might cherish, joyous supreme. No more of hatred, no more of crime, peacefulness only in heart and mind. Peace in our world, this is my prayer, with one God to guide us, and one God to care, and all of neighbors, they surely will see that peace is the answer to eternity, and let it be peace on earth, and let it begin with each one of us this new year. Amen.
Amen.
I pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay, we have the minutes of previous council meetings, the council work session of November 12th, council meeting November 26th. If there are no corrections, the minutes stand as approved. We have no public hearings, reports of municipal officials. Oops, wait a minute. Public presentations. Our librarian, Jennifer Weichert.
Hello, how are you all tonight?
Good.
The sun was
Good,
nice
good.
today.
Merry Christmas.
Happy holidays to all of you as well. I just wanted to give you a few updates, even though I only spoke to you a couple of weeks ago, but we do have a lot of fun things that will be coming up in the end of December and the beginning of January, including the Winter Checkout Challenge, which is the reward program for reading for adults instead of it being in the summer like the kids used to do. We have our Winter Checkout Challenge every year, and it runs January 21st, and it will run until February 29th, I think. It's on here, I'll find that. But it's basically a program to facilitate mental and physical well-being, to promote connections, to let people know what the library can do, and offer just some fun and enjoyment. Anybody who wants to participate, who's 18 or older, can come to any library and pick up a paper form, or you can do it online. And if you do it online, it will track your activities, and when you've done 5 activities, you get entered for some grand prize drawings. And if you have a piece of paper, you self-track what you've completed and then bring it back, and we can get you a paper form for the prize drawings. Also, when you sign up by getting one of those forms, you can stop in and get a coaster. And when you complete all 5 activities, you get this year's commemorative mug, and it's very pretty. So if you have been collecting the mugs for a few years now, the new one is very nice, and that will be, of course, while supplies last. So there's a whole list online of all the different activities that you'll be able to do. But we can help you with that. Sometimes it's discussing books with somebody, or it can be, checking out one of our online resources, or it can be coming to an event or a program. So all kinds of fun. And then at Greenhills, we will be celebrating the beginning of this with a special program from Dean Regas, who is an astronomer. You may even have seen him on PBS on some of their Keep Looking Up sections. But he will be coming to Greenhills and doing a program on 100 things to see in the night sky. So if you're into astronomy or anything, especially the wintertime, it's a very clear, crisp way to be able to see everything. And he will be coming and telling us all about all kinds of different things to see up there. I didn't realize there were 100 that you could actually see, so I'm looking forward to it. If you do want to come, that one is a registration program, so please go online or stop at the library or call us, and we'll be happy to help you register. We do also still have our Penguin program coming up on Saturday. It is a registration, so I think it was full at the moment, but sometimes there are cancellations and stuff, so please go online and fill that out if you'd like to come. And then teens can make a sock snowman tomorrow at 4 o'clock. And we do continue our story times on Mondays at 10:30, and our adult story time for developmental needs and delays also has resumed, so those are also on Mondays at 11:30 a.m. And we are going to start a new program in January, a youth drawing club on Mondays at 4:30 p.m. So that'll be mostly like pencil sketching and stuff, and just a place where they can come hang out, work on their stuff. If they need help with a specific technique or anything, we can help them with that. Also, teens will be able to taste chocolates from around the world on January 8th at 4 p.m. And kids will have their after-school Top This class with cookie decorating this month, so we'll top those with icing and sprinkles. That'll be on Tuesday, January 14th at 5 p.m. Adults can create a salt shaker snowman on Saturday, January 18th at 2 p.m. Sign up is required on that one. I only have so many salt shakers. Adults can also make their own no-bake granola bar recipe on Wednesday, January 22nd at 6:30 p.m. That is also a registration, so we have enough supplies for everybody. And homeschoolers can join us for a special program on Thursday, January 23rd at 10:30. And the UC Classics will be discussing magic and malice in the ancient world. And that'll be at 10:30 a.m. And just a heads up, we are closed on Tuesday, December 24th and Wednesday, December 25th. We'll close early at 5 p.m. on Tuesday, December 31st, and all locations will be closed on Tuesday, January 1st. And also, because this I won't have a chance to share, we will be closed on Monday, January 20th for Martin Luther King Day as well. Thank you so much.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you so much for all the programs that you have for all ages, adults and children alike. Really covers a lot and helps a lot of people in the village. I really appreciate that.
Glad to have everyone come in.
Okay, Chief Tony Spaeth.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor, members of council. I will be brief this evening. Some statistics. Thus far this month of December, we have made 5 fire runs and 17 EMS runs for a grand total of 22. Year to date, we are at 427 EMS runs and 205 fire runs for a total of 632. And so we're on pace to be about 3 to 4% ahead of last year on fire and EMS run activity. Just wanted to make mention on the 7th of the month, we had our annual meeting, which is our Christmas banquet, where we thank and recognize our members. We have a nice evening together, and we reflect on our successes, and then we, have some forward-looking thoughts for the upcoming year. And so I just wanted to make a few mentions tonight. The 2024 Firefighter of the Year was awarded to Chris Shipley. He's a 7-year member of the fire department and a very active young man and does a heck of a job for us. We also had some length of service awards. With 5 years of service, we had Kimberly Bain and Charlie Volan. And then with 40 years of service, I'll repeat that, 40 years of service, Assistant Chief Tom Hoffman was recognized for that. And then we also recognized our outgoing board president for 2024, who is Dustin Graham. So it was a very nice evening. Thanks to those of you that were able to make it, and I wanted to just make mention of a few of those points. We'll just finish up this evening with some holiday safety tips. With over 40 years in the fire service, I've seen my share of things that happen on the holidays. And so I just thought it might be a good idea to mention a few things. And the first thing is please don't leave candles burning unattended. Eliminate extension cord use altogether. Those are just bad. If you do have to use something, a UL-approved power strip with a circuit breaker. I know a lot of the older homes, especially in the historic district, that don't have as many outlets, and they weren't designed for the amount of electric items that we have today. So please make sure that for your safety to do that. Limit, and if you can eliminate, do that, but certainly limit the use of portable space heaters. If you do have to use those, we recommend that they're attended, so you never want to have that running when you're not home. And then again, make sure that's a UL approved space heater, and a lot of them have fail-safe switches on to where if you knock them over, they automatically shut off. If you have a live Christmas tree, make sure to keep that watered and away from heat sources and frayed cords. If you, a lot of people are in the kitchen more this time of the year than usual, and over 50% of house fires start in the kitchen, over half. And so a lot of that is unattended cooking, oil on a stovetop, those kind of things, and that gets away from folks really, really quick. So just remind everyone to be very, very careful in the kitchen in this time of the year. And then my final comment is, go out, and when you go home tonight, look at your house from the street and see if your address is visible to you. And if it's not visible to you, it's probably not visible to us either. And so the fire and the police officers both, that's very, very helpful. So please make sure that you have a visible address from the street. And with that, just remind everybody, it's a pleasure to serve, and we've had a really, really great 2024, and we're looking forward to a better 2025, and we're looking forward to that, and it's just going to be here before you know it. So I'll entertain any questions or comments, and I'll conclude my report. Thank you very much.
Thanks, Chief. Thank you. Okay, now reports of municipal officials, Municipal Manager Yvonne Kovac.
Thank you, Mayor. Let's see, we have 7 items on our list of legislation. I'm not going to go through each one of them because most of them are like routine, but I did want to mention number 3, the one with OPWC. This is the Damon Cromwell Springdale Road project that we tried first for the transit. We went to OPWC and we are on their list for funding right now. So that's the purpose of this legislation. And then if for some reason we fall out off that list, which we don't know what that would be at this point in time, this would also cover us for the small city improvement program. Is it SKIP? I forget what this is, small community, whatever, the smaller pot of money. So anyway, it looks like we're going to get that funded. So I did want to let you know that. Unfortunately, there's one item on here, it's not on here, that we would have liked to have had on here. It was the reason for postponing the meeting as long as we could, and that was we're still waiting on the auditor to respond to the request for information on the 2 proposed levy millages that we sent them. So they do update our overall valuation at the end of every year. Apparently they are still working on that. This is probably going to be like next week, but I'm saying all that to say that the first meeting in January will, if you could make that a voting session, we'd like to get that information back to the county as quickly as possible in case they want to see changes, which usually they do. That would give us our second January meeting if they request any changes in that legislation.
And may I
Very
add,
important.
the legislation has already been prepared, and the Hamilton County Auditor's Office has that legislation, but they cannot apply the current valuation. It's a 25 item, so we have to wait for the 25 valuation. So as soon as they have that, they already have the past legislation, and they can act quickly and get us the certificate back.
Great. And on that topic of, I kind of call this one an unfunded mandate. Many of you have probably heard about the increase that the state is doing, putting in place for police and fire pension fund. And it's going to be sizable. It's going to go from 19% up to 24%. At first it was a 4-year build-in. I think they've now agreed to do it over 6 years. But still, that's going to be a hefty expense to everybody's police budget. You don't know where it's going to end. It just keeps on going. But I thought I'd better make you aware of that because that's a massive expense for everybody. Yeah, I wanted to mention the light up was just great this year. I think everybody had a good time. The food was really good. A lot of fun, entertainment. So big thanks to everybody and my staff who worked on that. I think it was real successful this year. So I will entertain any questions or be ready when you get to the legislation.
Our law director's not here. Clerk of Council, Teresa Lawley.
Nothing tonight.
Okay.
Chief of Police Jim Howard.
Thank you, Mayor. I don't have a whole lot. I'd like to echo what Yvonne said about Light Up. I thought it was a great event. Kids come out and cookies. It was a great time, although it was very, very cold. But the bonfire felt really, really good. You might notice when you pulled in today, we took possession of our 3 police cruisers that we purchased in 2020 Ford Interceptors. 2 of them are out there right now. The other one's up at Mobilecom right now, so we're kind of on their time. They're starting to switch them over. So the Chevy Impala that you've seen around town, that's up there being equipment taken out, putting in a new one. And then they're all 3 slated. So we're on their timing as far as when all 3 of them get done, and then they're all slated the first week to get the graphics put on them. So hopefully after the first couple of weeks of January, we'll actually see them on the road. So we had our CLE on site this past week from the 9th through the 11th. Mr. Kearns came in from North Carolina. Went really well. I have no reason to believe he had any concerns, to be honest with you, on anything. The report will come out mid-January, the final report, but I see no issues with being recertified in March of 2025. So it takes a lot of work from all the officers, not just to get ready for the on-site, but throughout the whole year and doing what we're doing in our policies and procedures and following everything. And shout out to Lieutenant Ann Ward, because she's the mastermind behind it and the accreditation manager, and does a lot of work to make that happen throughout the year. So I truly appreciate her. November statistics, we had 162 incidents that we responded to. As the chief mentioned, 22 squad runs we assisted with, 13 mutual aids, and then various trouble runs, parking complaints. We had 18 criminal offense reports reported to the state. They ranged anywhere from 6 of them were simple assaults to theft, criminal damaging, a weapon law violation, a couple weapon laws violations, 1 driving under the influence. We made 8 arrests during the month of November. We either issued a warrant or citation on 11 different cases. Traffic citations, we issued 38 traffic citations totaling 43 violations, and we issued 48 traffic warning violations. Total crimes reported throughout the year through November is 173 this year to date, up until December 1st through November 30th. So, which is up from the 122 during the same time period last year, but as I mentioned in previous meetings, a lot of it's in the way we're reporting things now that go to the state that normally wouldn't have been going to the state. So that's why the increase. I don't think crime's running rampant or we've had a lot more crime. It's just the way we report things now. So, unless you have any questions, that's the end of my report. And I wish everybody Merry Christmas.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Same to you.
I do have a question. I do want to make a comment on the 3 cruisers Chief mentioned. For anybody watching who may not know, that was an incredible savings. They are used vehicles, but lower mileage than ours. And we bought 3 of them, partially equipped for less than we would pay for 1 cruiser. So that was just incredible, and thank you for your work on that.
Thank you.
Okay, I have Mayor's Court receipts. November Mayor's Court ending bank balance is $27,819.59. Checks to be issued to the state of Ohio, $758. Hamilton County, $27. And the Village of Greenhills, $3,140. That's all I have. Reports of committees, intergovernmental affairs, laws and rules. Maria Walter.
We had a meeting together with the finance. There was no agenda for the laws and orders, and the finance will be discussed by Mr. Jack Lee.
Safety, Jeff Halder.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. We didn't have a meeting, but I did attend the Greenhills Fire Department annual meeting. Tony, I don't know if you remember the Fireman of the Year, Fire Person of the Year. How many runs did, is it Chris made?
Yeah, he's well over 150.
Okay. Yeah, when you start to hear some of the time and statistics that they put in, that accumulate over the year, it's quite impressive. So again, thank you for just a job well done, a good year. The other thing I wanted to bring up, I don't know that much information about it. I'm just getting more about it because of my dad. But AT&T is transitioning away from actual landlines. And for older people, that can be a concern. Some of them are not comfortable working a cell phone or a smartphone. There are alternatives. I think it's coming 2025. They're starting to shift away from landlines. There are methods and ways to actually retain your phone. You have to either have a connector piece that would change it from a landline to an internet line. But I just wanted to make our community aware of it, and I'll try to find out more information, since I'm sure there's a fair amount of people that still have a landline and rely on that. And as I gather more information, we'll go over that the next time we have a safety meeting. But that concludes my report.
Okay. Community Development, Jim Bonner.
Nothing to report this month, Mr. Mayor.
Okay. Service and Streets, Melanie Hermes.
The only thing I wanted to report is just a reminder that our trash collection day is usually on Wednesday. So next week it'll be on Thursday, the 26th, and then the following week it'll be on Thursday, January 2nd.
Great. Finance and Audit, Jack Lee.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. As mentioned by Maria earlier, we did meet earlier in the month with the finance director and the village manager to go over the appropriations for fiscal year 2025, and we'll be getting into that in legislation later. At your place tonight, you'll see the general fund recap for the month of November. Again, the monthly receipts continue to reflect the departure of the Early Childhood Center, formerly known as Beechwoods, and also the departure of the building altogether. It's kind of a weird sight, seeing that big empty space up there. We do see an increase as far as the real estate tax receipts. But overall, the increase through the end of the year, or through the end of November, is still healthy year to year. At the end of November, the general fund balance was $2,759,165.46. As on the expense side, year to year, we continue to spend less than we've appropriated. Through the end of November, the 2024 appropriations are just 45% of what was appropriated and was expended. We did have some transfers from the general fund to the police, Malloy's pool, and accounts, as well as some other bookkeeping, and there'll be another year-end balance adjustment transfer in our legislation later. So unless anyone has any questions, that's the end of my report.
Okay. All right. Recreation, Cable Television, Rachel Hudson.
I don't have anything to do, Mr. Mayor.
Okay. All right, this is an opportunity for citizens to comment on legislation listed on the agenda for this session of council. When recognized, please come forward to the podium, complete the sign-in sheet, verbally indicate if you're a resident of Greenhills or a non-resident, state your comments. Comments will be limited to 4 minutes.
Good evening. Thank you for the opportunity to speak to you once again. First off, I'd like to suggest that that timer be placed over here so it's visible to the speaker, because it's very distracting. If you're talking to people, you want to make eye contact, and that's really located in the wrong spot. So the first thing I'd like to comment on would be this contract you're considering with Wood and Lamping. I am deeply concerned that there has been no competitive bids for our legal representation for decades, and I think it's high time that you do so, rather than just shelling out every single year to the same party. I don't think that's good management of our money, and I don't believe that it's giving us the best for the money that's being spent. I notice here that attendance is supposed to be one of the requirements, but as you can see, Mr. Forbes is not here today, and my observation is that he's absent on many occasions.
I believe it's because we moved the date of the meeting and he has another.
Pardon me, reclaiming my time. The next thing I would like to comment on would be the supplemental appropriations that are listed here. Number one, I'd like to know, I didn't get a chance to look at the full minutes. Are these things included with the minutes that you send out or the agenda?
Are they included?
Right.
Yes, but this past packet, we're missing.
Okay. I would suggest that if you're going to be trying to comply with the Ohio Sunshine Law, that it would be wise for this village to start putting these agendas and the full resolutions and so forth that are pending your consideration, put them online so that the public can take a look at these before you hold your meetings, because it's really not very considerate if you want a public to be engaged and to participate in this community if you're keeping those things silent or closed or in the dark, as they might say. Supplemental appropriation, reclaiming my time. We have a number of things on this supplemental appropriations that is concerning. We've got community planning and zoning, $300,000. What in the dickens is that for? We've got mayor's court here, $88,000. We've got finance expenses, or no, that was the finance personnel services. Good God, are we paying the finance director $88,000? Land and buildings, $219,000. We've got recreation on here for personnel services and all other expenses that are $52,000. I haven't seen any sign or signal of recreation services in this town other than you've got a swimming pool that we're paying for separately. And that is one of the big issues that was brought up to me during the past campaign. People were disappointed with that. We've got OVI total, and I have no idea what OVI is supposed to stand for, is $200. We've got Spoils Field, which is I don't really understand why the special little club is being run for just a select number of people to the tune of $102,000 or the fund total of $109,000. It seems to me if that's a cash operation, is it being audited? We've got accumulated sick fund for $58,000. We have a GO bond obligation here that I don't really know what that's supposed to mean. We've got a non-voted debt fund, which supposedly was for redevelopment expenses, and that's why we got stuck with paying for our own garbage. Now, when is it that Rumpke is going to come off our water bill? Because that is a very bit excessive.
Okay,
Reclaiming
thanks.
my time.
Thank
going-
you.
Reclaiming my time,
Thank
going
you.
to your fee schedule.
Take
I
your
want to
seat,
know
Ms.
if these
Anwan.
deposits,
Thanks a lot.
reclaiming my
also like to
time,
point
I want to
out
know
that
if
you,
these deposits are refundable.
Your time is over.
Sit down.
Thank you.
Please.
And I believe you were not referring to the supplemental appropriation. There's only one supplemental appropriation this time, and it's the change in the general fund, 1,710. You were citing the whole appropriations from 2024. not the
Exhibit A is what I'm referring to.
That's the entire appropriation for the year. It's not the
Exactly, that's
supplemental.
exactly what I'm questioning. And that
Okay.
shouldn't be a puzzling matter to you.
Oh, I'm not
It is
puzzled
a-
about
it's
the
a very-
final
It's a very
appropriation.
puzzling matter to
I
those
was-
that are paying all these bills.
I was confused on why you were talking about something that wasn't part of the change.
Take your seat, or I'll have you removed from the council. Take your seat, and one, take your seat. Take your seat, Miss And One. Thanks for the display. Okay, resolution number 2024 R36-LNR, authorizing the agreement establishing compensation for legal services of law director and Wood and Lampe. Ms. Walter.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Authorizing an agreement establishing compensation for legal services of law director and Wood and Lamping LLP. Whereas Section 502 of the Charter of the Village of Greenhills provides that the law director shall be appointed by council, and whereas Section 502 further provides that council shall have the right to select additional legal counsel, and whereas council has determined that Jeffrey D. Forbes possesses the qualifications to serve as law director for the Village of Greenhills, and whereas council further desires to contract with the law firm of Wood and Lamping for additional legal services related to the functions of law director. Now, therefore, be it resolved that the Council of the Village of Greenhills, Ohio, members elected thereto concurring, Section 1, that the municipal manager is hereby authorized to enter into an agreement establishing compensation for legal services of law director and Wood and Lamping LLP, with said agreement being substantially in the form of the attached hereto as Exhibit A, incorporated here in reference. Section 2, that this resolution is and shall be effective from and after the earliest period allowed by law. Mr. Mayor, I move that we adopt this resolution.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. To adopt the resolution. Any comments or questions?
I have a comment, just that I personally have been very pleased with his performance, and I know that his attendance, I think he's missed, I can count on one hand how many days he's missed out of the time that I've been here. And not only that, but you get what you pay for. So I think it's a good,
And
yeah.
I'd like to add on to that, it's a professional service, and that
Yes.
doesn't require to be bid
Competitive
out
bidding.
periodically.
Oh, thank you. And I think if anybody has a question about his attendance, then they can put in the time to go back and watch all of the sessions that are recorded and see just how many times he wasn't here. You're welcome.
Okay. Clerk poll the council.
Mr. Warner,
Aye.
Ms. Walker,
Aye.
Ms. Hudson,
Aye.
Mr. Lee,
Aye.
Mr. Halter,
Aye.
Ms. Hermes.
Aye.
Okay, resolution number 2024-R36-LNR passes. Next resolution, number 2024-R37-SNS, authorizing assessments of certain properties in the Village of Greenhills. Ms. Hermes?
Thank you, Mayor. Resolution number 2024 R37 S&S. Resolution authorizing assessments on certain properties in the Village of Greenhills. Whereas the village has given proper notice to the owners of certain real property in the Village of Greenhills regarding the removal of vegetation, refuse, garbage, and/or debris from the properties listed below. And whereas the owners of said properties did not take action to remedy the violations, and therefore the Village of Greenhills contracted to remove vegetation, refuse, garbage, and/or debris, and now seeks to collect said expenses by authorizing the placement of a lien upon the lands and collected as other taxes. Now, therefore, be it resolved by the Council of the Village of Greenhills, Ohio, Section 1, that the Village Council hereby certifies that the costs of such labor, together with the expenses relative thereto, to be filed on the return and statement to the Hamilton County Commissioners as an assessment against the properties listed and placed as a lien against the properties by the Auditor of Hamilton County, Ohio, as follows. Parcel number 5970070, 0000800, address 17 Chalmers Lane, owner Impar LLC, cost $426.34. Parcel number 597-0070-004200, address 103 Burley Circle, Peloti Properties, cost $168.84, for a total cost of $595.18. Section 2, all amounts collected as a result of this resolution shall be placed into the general fund of the Village of Green Hills. Section 3, this resolution shall be effective immediately upon its passage. I move for the adoption of this resolution.
Second it.
It's been moved and seconded. Any comments or questions? Clerk poll the council.
Mr. Coulter.
Aye.
Ms. Hermes.
Aye.
Mr. Lee.
Aye.
Ms. Hudson.
Aye.
Mr. Warner.
Aye.
Ms. Welch.
Aye.
Okay, resolution number 2024-R37-SNS passes. Next resolution, number 2024-38-SNS, a resolution authorizing the municipal manager to prepare and submit an application to participate in the Ohio Public Works Commission State Capital Improvement and/or local transportation improvement programs and to execute contracts as required. Ms. Hermes.
Thank you. Resolution number 2024-R38-SNS, a resolution authorizing the municipal manager to prepare and submit an application to participate in the Ohio Public Works Commission State Capital Improvement and/or local transportation improvement programs, and to execute contracts as required. Whereas the State Capital Improvement Program and the Local Transportation Improvement Program both provide financial assistance to political subdivisions for capital improvements to public infrastructure. And whereas the Village of Green Hills is planning to make capital improvements to Damon Road, Cromwell Road, and Springdale Road. And whereas the infrastructure improvement herein above described is described to be priority need for the community and is a qualified project under the OPWC programs. Now, therefore be it resolved by the Council of Village of Green Hills, Ohio, that Section 1, the municipal manager is hereby authorized to apply to the OPWC for funds as described above. Section 2, the municipal manager is authorized to enter into any agreements as may be necessary and appropriate for obtaining this financial assistance. Section 3, that this resolution shall take effect and be enforced from and after the earliest period allowed by law. I so move for the adoption of this resolution.
I second it.
It's been moved and seconded. Any comments or questions? Clerk poll the council.
Ms. Walker.
Aye.
Ms. Hudson.
Aye.
Ms. Hermes.
Aye.
Mr. Coulter.
Aye.
Mr. Lee.
Aye.
Mr. Warner.
Aye.
Okay, resolution number 2024-R38-SNS passes. Next resolution, number 2024-R39-F, adopting the 2025 Greenhills fee schedule. Mr. Lee.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Resolution 2024-R39F, adopting the 2025 Green Hills fee schedule. Whereas the village has determined it is necessary to assess fees for certain services, and whereas the council updates the fee schedule annually, now therefore be it resolved by the council of the Village of Green Hills, Ohio, that Section 1, the council of the Village of Green Hills hereby adopts a fee schedule as set forth in Exhibit A, attached hereto and incorporated herein by reference. Section 2, that the resolution shall be and is effective from and after the earliest period allowed by law. Mr. Mayor, I move for the adoption of this resolution.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Any comments or questions?
I'll just comment that there were no changes to the schedule this year.
Clerk poll the council.
Mr. Lee.
Aye.
Ms. Hudson.
Aye.
Mr. Warner.
Aye.
Ms. Walker.
Aye.
Mr. Coulter.
Aye.
Ms. Hermes.
Aye.
Okay, resolution number 2024-R39-F passes. Next resolution, Number 2024-R40-F, authorizing increase for various village employees. Mr. Lee.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Resolution 2024-R40F, resolution authorizing increases for village employees. Be it resolved by the Council of the Village Greenhills, State of Ohio, that Section 1, Council authorizes a 2.5% increase in salaries for the municipal manager, finance director, and clerk of council, effective as of the first pay period in January 2025. Section 2, all other employees will receive the salary adjustments according to the applicable schedules approved pursuant to 2019 R06F, updated in 2024, and 2021 R31F. Section 3, that this resolution shall be effective immediately upon its adoption. Mr. Mayor, I move for the adoption of this resolution.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Any comments or questions? Clerk, poll the council.
Ms. Walker?
Aye.
Ms. Hudson?
Aye.
Ms. Hermes?
Aye.
Mr. Holter?
Aye.
Mr. Lee?
Aye.
Mr. Warner?
Aye.
Okay, resolution number 2024-40-F passes. Next resolution, number 2024-R41-F, approving the annual permanent appropriations for 2025. Mr. Lee.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Resolution 2024-R41F, resolution approving the annual permanent appropriations for the year 2025. A resolution to make the permanent appropriations for the current expenses and other expenditures of the Village of Greenhills, State of Ohio during the fiscal year ending December 31st, 2025, pursuant to Exhibit A, Permanent Appropriations 2025, attached hereto and by reference made a part hereof. Now, therefore, be it resolved by the Council of the Village Greenhills, State of Ohio, Section 1, to provide for the current expenses and other expenditures of the Village of Greenhills during the fiscal year ending December 31st, 2025, the following sums be and are hereby set aside and appropriated as follows, namely, that there be appropriated from the general fund $3,277,750, that there be appropriated from the special revenue funds $3,131,100, that there be appropriated from the debt bond retirement fund $0, that there be appropriated from the special assessment fund $99,000, for a grand total of $6,507,850 for all funds. Section 2, that the village finance director is hereby authorized to draw warrants for payments from any of the foregoing appropriations upon receiving proper certificates and vouchers, therefore approved by the board or officers authorized by law to approve the same or an ordinance or resolution of council to make the expenditures, provided that no warrants shall be drawn or paid for salaries or wages except to persons employed by the authority and in accordance with law or ordinance. Section 3, any necessary changes to be made to the appropriations below the legal limit of control can be made by the finance director with the approval of the municipal manager. Any changes to the appropriation at or above the legal limit of control require village council approval. Section 4, this resolution shall take effect immediately upon passage. Mr. Mayor, I move for the adoption of this resolution.
Second.
Okay, been moved and seconded. Any comments or questions?
I think the operative words in here is annual permanent appropriations.
All right, clerk, poll the council.
Mr. Warner?
Aye.
Ms. Swather?
Aye.
Ms. Hudson?
Aye.
Mr. Halter?
Aye.
Ms. Herman?
Aye.
Mr. Lee?
Aye.
Okay, resolution number 2024-R41-F passes. Next resolution number 2024-R42-F, resolution making supplemental appropriations and transfers. Mr. Lee.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Resolution 2024-R42F, resolution making supplemental appropriations and transfers. Whereas the 2024 annual appropriations that were adopted on December 12, 2023 are to be amended. Whereas appropriations must not exceed the total of available resources of the village per Ohio Revised Code 5705-36A5. Therefore, an amended certificate of estimated resources has been requested from the County Budget Commission. Now, therefore, be it resolved by the Council of the Village Greenhills, Ohio, Section 1, since certain actions are needed in the monies appropriated so to permit Village of Greenhills to meet its fiscal obligations for the year 2024, the following items of expenditures are to supplement the appropriations for expenditure for the year 2024. Fund description, General Fund Administration, account number 10710. Original appropriation, $358,000. Change, an additional $25,000 for a new total of $383,000. Section 2, the following transfer of funds be made from previously appropriated monies, none. Section 3, this resolution shall take effect and be in full force from and after the earliest date allowed by law. Mr. Mayor, I move for the adoption of this resolution.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Any comments or questions?
Again, this is only a change to one of the funds, not the whole thing.
Okay, clerk poll the council.
Ms. Herman?
Aye.
Mr. Halter?
Aye.
Mr. Lee?
Aye.
Ms. Swather?
Aye.
Ms. Hudson?
Aye.
Mr. Warner?
Okay, resolution number 2024-R42-F passes. Okay, and council members have any comments they want to make before we do the calendar?
Merry Christmas.
All right, Merry Christmas.
Do we have a date for organizational meeting in
It'll
January?
be the one in
14.
the 14th.
The 14th.
Okay.
I was looking at this and I was semi-proposing for December to change the meeting to December 16th instead of the 23rd.
2025.
Oh,
Of
2025.
I
I was going to say that's a little late now.
Yesterday, yes.
Okay.
Just to put it on your calendars tentatively, that it might be adjusted again.
All right.
What were the trash days you said?
Trash will be picked up next week on Thursday, December 26th, and then also again on Thursday, January 2nd. That means your recycling would also follow on the correct day.
Thank you.
Okay. This is the time for citizens to comment on matters before council. When recognized, please come forward to the podium, complete the sign-in sheet, verbally indicate if you're a resident of Greenhills, then state your comments. If you have questions, the questions will be recorded and referred to the manager's office for response. This will allow time for thorough and thoughtful consideration to be given to each question. Council meetings are recorded for ease of transcriptions. Comments are limited to 4 minutes. Speakers may not yield any or all of their time to other speakers.
Monique Mason-Halter, Greenhills residents. Over the past several months, I have spoken at meetings about dozens of federal bills that eliminate municipal authority over the deployment of cell towers and other wireless infrastructure, including broadband satellites. I've also encouraged you to contact state and federal lawmakers with your concerns about this. Last month, I provided you with printouts that had information about 2 online action alerts regarding broadband satellites, and I read excerpts from them. I also provided you with a double-sided fact sheet about satellites. It was published by Environmental Health Trust, and I didn't have time to read from it, so I'm going to do that tonight, but from a copy that is more updated than the one I provided last time. And I provided you with copies of that. Before I start reading from it, I'd like to thank council members again for writing a letter to the Federal Communications Commission, or FCC, and asking that the agency comply with the 2021 court order to specifically address scientific evidence related to the health and environmental impacts of RF wireless radiation, including 5G. These outdated guidelines still apply to satellites as well. So far, the following state lawmakers have also written letters to the FCC. State Representatives Cindy Abrams, Jennifer Gross, P. Scott Lips, Adam Matthews, and Cecil Thomas, and State Senators Bill Blessing, Catherine Ingram, and Steve Wilson. Other Ohioans and I have also asked that Senators Brown and Vance write the letter, as well as several of our congressional representatives, including Warren Davidson, who represents our district. I wrote to each of them again today asking that they write the letter. If any of this concerns you, I encourage you to contact our federal lawmakers' offices as well. So now I'm going to read from this Environmental Health Trust fact sheet, federal legislation on wireless communications. The date on it is September 21st, 2024. Satellite proliferation, hundreds of thousands of U.S. launches with no environmental review. Bills pending, H.R. 1338, S4010, requires FCC to process satellite applications with an approach similar to H.R. 3557, imposes shot clocks, automatic approvals of applications, and automatic renewals. H.R. 1339 requires the FCC to pursue additional regulations to promote satellite use for precision agriculture. S1648 passed both chambers. H.R. 682 allows commercial satellite launches to use spectrum that is currently reserved for national security. Context, over 1 million satellites planned. By comparison, in 2018, prior to the recent wave of expansion, just over 1,300 satellites were active. From all previous history, in the U.S. alone, the FCC has received 70,000 applications since 2016 and granted approximately 10,000 with a lifespan of only 5 years per satellite. The U.S. is on a path to launching 14,000 satellites per year just to maintain U.S. licensed network. The regulatory gap. In 1986, the FCC determined that based upon the Commission's experience, its authorizations and licensing of satellites were categorically excluded under the National Environmental Policy Act. Although the FCC has provided no justification for maintaining this exclusion despite evidence of significant environmental effects of individual and cumulative satellite deployments. In 2022, GAO recommended that FCC justify its NEPA category, right? You've got it, read it and weep.
Thanks.
Thank you,
Happy
Mary.
holidays.
Thank you, Mary.
Thank you. Merry Christmas.
As a follow-up to Patty and Vaughn, 32 Chalmers Lane, as a follow-up to the interruption that I had from Ms. Hermes, the supplemental appropriation to transfer required an additional $25,000 to cover the 24 supplemental appropriations. So this is a done deal that we've already spent $300,000 on refuse collection and disposal, which I question because the individual taxpayers are funding this through their water bills each month, which was supposed to offset the non-voted debt fund, which now shows on here as of 2023 is zero. So is there a reason why we continue to have to pay Rumpke, or is this just another cushion for giving raises? The finance, again, we've got expenses here that I think are a little bit out of range. Recreation, it's still questioning here since you've got the spoils field and swimming pool listed separately. Where are you shelling out $47,600 plus $6,000? Are we still paying the mayor $2,000 a year for him to sit on the recreation board? Because we were stuck with that for many years, weren't we, Mr. Moore? So then we've got the police fund, which is over $1 million, $311,000. We've got 3 fire levies that apparently this was the old funds here, so we've got lots and lots of debt. There are lots and lots of encumbrances for funding the fire department, which could be on a actual fire district arrangement, but for some reason we have to keep this up, this old-fashioned stuff. So that's kind of covering that. How many of you are familiar with the Ohio Sunshine Law? You should be, because you are required as elected officials to attend every term of office. You're supposed to personally attend training so that you understand thoroughly what it means to have an open government and what open meetings and public records requests are actually supposed to be satisfied and not brushed aside or treated as some kind of a nuisance. So I'm hoping that all of you, which I'm sure you're not going to admit, have taken this class, but I know for many years Mr. Forbes wanted to do it as your designees to kind of keep you guys kind of covered. So we do have closed-door deliberations. There are remedies for those kinds of things that are going on that the citizens can file with the Common Pleas Court. And certain violations can actually result in removal from office. The Ohio Attorney General does provide citizen training online. You can get that by going online, or you can attend in person. Right now, I'm really concerned about what training you have or have not had in terms of the people that are on your planning commission and your zoning commission. You never seem to be able to name these people publicly. And we're wondering what in the world kind of qualifications do they have to be making decisions on our behalf, because in the past they have not been trained. We do have mandamus as a solution for people who decide they're not going to comply with public records request, and it can get costly. So it's just a reminder that you do have a duty, citizens have a right, and you can end up paying reasonable attorney fees as a result of non-compliance. Just a reminder for 2025. Rachel, I appreciate you keeping your eye on the time because I have 1 second left. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay.
I just wanted to clarify that I did not interrupt Mrs. Anwan's statement. I actually waited till her 4 minutes was up when I was explaining that the supplemental appropriation was only about one item.
And it was quite the performance, I might add. So.
Okay, well, we know it's an election year, so we know what the threat is. Okay, meeting adjourned. Have a nice Christmas, everyone.
Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you.